Hi guys, we're back again with more fan fiction.
Back. More fan fiction.
It's from the same author that did Diary of the Lost Soul and Child Saber, which is another series I need to finish. Okay, so I need to warn you guys really quickly before we begin. Yes, there's not safe for work topics. Again, if you've ignored the disclaimer for whatever reason, and you choose to get offended by whatever's mentioned in this story, that's on you. So I'm joined by my good friend again, narrator, who's tolerated my bullshit the past 2 weeks.
You know.
And the title of the story is My True Love. Again, it's not the Diary of the Lost Soul AU, it's its own AU. Again, still humanization of the characters. If you see something that looks peculiar, or you see a sentence that's not written correctly, correct it. Or if you see something strange, just call it out to me, and we'll discuss it and all that shit. Same format as in Diary of the Lost Soul. She reads a sentence, I read a sentence, then we popcornering until we get to the end of the paragraph. So, yeah. I'm going to bite the bullet and read first because I don't feel like having you. It would be unfair to you if I had you read chapter 1 first. So, chapter 1. Chungington was as silent as the night had set in over the city.
Hardly anything moved as the wind blew through the streets gently.
It was all quiet as a car came down the road.
Callie was out patrolling the city suburbs.
She looked around as she drove down the road.
It had been a busy day and she had been looking forward to finishing work soon.
It had been a busy time and she was exhausted. Those are the same sentence.
Oh no, I was about to say, and I just lost my spot. Sorry. Okay, the things in the city seemed to be all right, and she was about ready to quit work when she noticed something in the alley.
She stopped and got out of the car.
She loaded her shotgun as she walked towards it.
It moved, looking up at her.
She stopped.
What are you doing here? She asked.
Ran away, a female's voice called.
Callie lowered her gun slowly. Ran away? From what? She asked.
People, she murmured.
The female had the faint smells of areas outside of Jungington and alcohol on her clothes.
Callie walked over and pulled out her flashlight.
The girl was covered in cuts and didn't look too well.
She frowned slightly.
The girl seemed a bit familiar to her. Come with me and I'll help you out.
She looked back to her own car.
It was a silent trip to Callie's house. Oh, dear God. Okay. So you basically said she was looking forward to going to work soon. About...
Going home, though. Going home? I thought she was looking forward to going home.
Yeah, but she said it 3 times in 3 different ways.
Yeah. Well, and 2 of them were literally back to back.
Yeah.
And like she's ready to go home because she's exhausted. Yeah, and she's exhausted. Yeah, you just said she was ready to go. So okay.
And also wrong version of 2.
At the very end?
Yeah.
It was a silent trip to Callie's house?
No, it was come with it was the girl was covered in cuts and didn't look too well.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wrong. And it begins.
Yes, it does.
Okay. They pulled up in the driveway.
Callie helped the girl into her house, sitting her on the sofa.
She left to the bathroom, grabbing a medical kit. She left to go to the bathroom? Okay. Whatever.
She came back.
Take off your cloak and I'll fix your cut, she said.
The The girl did so, and Callie looked at her, then dropped the kid on the ground.
She walked over to her, brushing her hair back gently.
Tyne, what are you doing? She asked softly.
Wait, where did Tyne come from?
That's the girl she's tending to.
Tyne is the girl?
Yes.
What a twist!
But wait, what?
That's the female she rescued.
Okay, but how does she know that? So it begins already. Okay, so Tyne is.
Mm-hmm.
But how does she? So did she know that was Tyne, or does she just now know it's Tyne? Because she has not introduced herself.
She knew. It'll explain what happened to Tyne.
Okay. She shook her head slowly.
All right, don't need to tell me right now, love. She whispered.
She fixed up her cuts gently.
She then went and got her something to eat.
Tyne took it, eating it quickly. Okay.
Too many its in one sentence.
Yeah.
Callie
Well,
watched.
took what? Like, what is she eating? Why don't you just say, like, she went and she got her some pizza, and Tyne was eating the pizza quickly? Like, okay.
Lower your expectations, friend.
I know.
Lower your
I'm sorry.
expectations.
I can't. I try.
Callie watched her closely while she cleaned up.
Tyne had gone missing a few months back.
Callie had gotten really worried about her.
She figured until Tyne was better, she was going to keep her with her in her house.
She wasn't going to let anyone near her until she was ready for it.
Tyne finished and fell asleep on the couch.
Callie put a blanket over her. Sleep well, love, she whispered, kissing the top of her head gently.
She then went off to her room and went to sleep.
Does that answer your question?
Not really.
I mean, okay.
Okay, so Tyne ran away, and Callie just found her. But in the first paragraph, it sounded like she didn't know who she was.
It also mentioned that she looked a little bit familiar to her.
Okay, I see that. Okay. Well, that's when you're like, okay, again, and this is also why there's like big ass paragraphs, because then you could have been like, Tyne, as she finally now that she's pushed her hair out of her face, she recognizes her. Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay.
The
Think too much about this.
you think too much when you read her stories.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
The next morning, Tyne woke up on the couch still.
She sat up and stretched, looking around.
She couldn't really remember much about the night before.
She knew she wasn't in the place she usually was.
Morning, Tyne, hungry? Callie's voice came.
Tyne turned, looking at her, and nodded.
Callie came round, giving her a plate of food.
Tyne ate it quickly.
Is this Tomodachi where she just eats the plate too?
Yeah, right.
You've seen clips of Tomodachi Life, right?
No.
So the meat characters, if you give them food, instead of them eating it off the plate, they eat the food that's on the plate. It swallows it whole. It's hilarious. And if they're drinking, they eat the entire glass. Callie smiled softly, eating her breakfast.
Then there was a knock at the door.
Tyne's head shot up, and Callie walked over. "Who is it?" she asked.
It's me, Wilson.
Callie asked, hold on, I'm just, in the middle of something," she said, picking Tyne up off the couch.
She took her into the basement. Stay here and keep quiet, all right? She said, and Tyne nodded.
Man, she has a sick obsession with basements.
Right?
Basement roller much?
Wow.
She went back up and fixed up the couch.
She opened the door. Yes, Wilson?
Jackman wants to call a meeting, he said.
When?
At midday.
Callie nodded quickly. Sure, I'll be there.
All right, see you then, he said, walking off.
All right. She shut the door and sighed, going down to Tyne.
Let's just shove an injured person in the basement.
Right? Because you don't want Wilson, whoever Wilson is, to see her? Okay.
Wilson is one of the trainees, so he's in training to basically be a wrestler, essentially.
Oh. Okay.
And to answer your question, yes, he is a canon character to the series.
Okay.
I made a list for Diary of the Lost Soul of which character was canon and which character wasn't canon.
Well, I mean, do the same kind of guidelines apply if they have really weird names, they're non-canon characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
She opened the door to the basement and went downstairs.
Tyne was sitting on the corner holding herself.
Callie walked over to her, kneeling down next to her.
Hey, it's all right. I'm not going to let anything happen to you.
Tyne looked at Callie. I'm taking you under my wing. I'll make sure you're safe, she said, picking her up.
She looked back. She took her back upstairs, lying her on the sofa. Okay.
Don't you mean laying her down on the sofa?
Yeah, lying her down on the sofa.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's just a bad. Like some of these, it's just like they're just worded poorly.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, like, don't like they're just all these little short sentences. It's like there's this thing called a comma, and you can use that to connect sentences to help the flow of the paragraph. But okay.
Tyne sighed softly. I have to go to a meeting at midday, but I'll be right back after that, all right? She said, and Tyne nodded.
Not talkative much, are you? She said, a bit worried.
Tyne usually talked to her, but she seemed a bit too quiet, as Callie was worried something had happened while she had been gone to make Tyne want to not say anything. Oh, God.
Run on sentences. The one time. Again, commas. Commas are your friend. Callie sat behind her, rubbing her back.
Tyne leaned on her, feeling safe with her.
Callie smiled, softly holding her close.
She had missed her since she had gone, and she wasn't going to leave her without help.
Okay. Midday came sooner than Callie had hoped.
She had left the house locked so Tyne was safe inside.
She went off to the meeting.
She arrived and the others were talking. Afternoon, Callie, Jackman said, smiling.
Hey, Jackman.
How long is this meeting going to be?
Shouldn't be more than half an hour. Why? You got somewhere? You gotta be somewhere?
Huh? Me? Nah, just wondering.
Are you all right, Cal?
Yeah, fine. Let's just do this meeting, she said, and they nodded and started on the meeting.
Callie paid as much attention as she could, but her mind was still on Tyne. Of course it is. Everyone's mind is always on Tyne.
Ah, that's so bad.
You said it yourself. You say it, capture the flag, acceptance with Tyne.
You acceptance with the person. Oh man, you can already guess what kind of a plot this is gonna be.
I wonder. I wonder. Tyne's gonna need some rescuing, clearly.
She follows the damsel in distress trope.
Right?
She wasn't sure about leaving her alone in the house, but she had no choice.
While Callie was there, Tyne sat on the couch with the TV on.
She was watching it when she heard something get into the house about 15 minutes after Callie had gone.
Tyne got up, looking around slowly.
She reached for her knife, pulling it off her belt.
Where did she get a knife from? Okay. Someone came up behind her and cut her. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
So Tyne's being stabbed again.
Again.
Okay.
That's not that. Anyway. Tyne's screen dropping to the ground.
Because you said this is in the same AU, correct?
It's not
As
the
Diary
same.
of a...
It's
a
not
different
the
AU.
same. It's not the same AU. It's a different
Okay.
AU, but
Okay.
pretty much the same plot points.
Okay. A shadow loomed over Tyne and smiled darkly.
Callie felt something was wrong. Sorry, I have to go, she said, getting up.
Go where?
Home! She got... Oh, it's your turn, sorry.
No, it's fine. She got in her car, started started it up, pulling away from the HQ.
She got to the house and ran inside to see Tyne on the ground bleeding. Tyne!
She ran over towards her when someone hit her over the head, knocking her out.
Callie fell down unconscious and the shadow took off with Tyne. How much are you willing to bet? I want you to guess
Lord.
what villain is in this fanfic?
I'm gonna assume the same one from the last one, but I don't remember his name.
We just called him the KKK.
The KKK? Oh, Kirker?
Yeah. Kai Kura.
Even though
she sat up wondering if it was all a nightmare.
She walked out of the room to see Jackman in the kitchen.
Wilson and Asher were on the couch talking. Jackman?
Oh, you're awake.
She took his hand and he sat her in a chair.
We followed you. We were worried about what was wrong, and we got to your house and you were on the ground. You were out cold.
For how long?
About an hour.
No, this is bad.
Why? What's so bad about it?
Nothing. Just nothing. Don't worry about it.
The boys looked at each other, worried about her.
Callie had never been this way before.
She hardly ever got like this, and they were worried.
She hardly ever got like this. Oh, no, you already read that. Sorry. So believe it or not, Google Translate actually translates Kaikara to Caucasian. He's no god, he's just Caucasian.
He's a Caucasian. Well, remember, doesn't his name mean king or something fully stupid? Since we got a history on everyone's name in the last AU.
Oh yeah. Let me see.
My name is blah blah blah, and it means blah blah blah. Great. What is the point to the story? And your point is nothing. Great.
Let me see how text to speech pronounces his name, because that's what I was trying to do, and then you started reading. English US Mike. Oh, come on. You know you want to read the name. Come on, text to speech.
This is probably like error. This is a bullshit name.
It's like something went wrong, and it's like, are you shitting me? Another text to speech reader. Buscadu, weekend too.
Kaikara.
Yep, it pronounces it as Kaikara.
Oh, I think okay. So my question is, what is this girl's obsession with Tyne?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Tyne is kind of her favorite character.
Okay. I mean, it's cool. Like, I get it. But, because, like, in like, supernatural fandom, like, there are some girls, like, I should say girls. There are, like, some authors who will only write for one character, and I get that. I was like, but at least they write like different parts for that character. They write like different parts of their personality and stuff like that. I feel like we're just seeing the same person over and over and over and over and over again, and not in a good way. Because I feel like Tyne is basically a stand-in for the author.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, basically, if you want to put it like that, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Tyne woke up to find herself in a room.
She was chained to a wall. Of course she was chained to a wall.
She's always chained to the wall.
Of course. Of course she's chained to a wall. Where else would she be? Okay.
She struggled trying to get out.
She cringed as pain shot through her.
Struggling only caused her pain.
She looked around and whimpered as a shadow walked up to her.
So, you really thought you could get away, huh? A voice sneered.
She whimpered softly, backing up to the wall.
Well, guess what? Callie isn't here to save you now. You're in my care now, and you will obey me, or else there will be severe punishment. Do you understand me?
Is he twisting a mustache right now, too? Because I feel like he is.
Is it because of the way that I read it?
It might be because of the way you read it.
I'm just being like, I'm trying to mimic, you've probably seen him a lot. Professor ZD.
Mm-mm.
The Asian guy who does like an ass ton of like impressions, or Pro ZD, I think is what he's called. Yeah, I'll have to show you him afterwards.
Oh my god! And there's like, here's the thing: I've got this really specific character, and I'm trying to think what this character is from. That you're reminding me of. It's a cartoon character. It's a cartoon villain.
Dick Dastardly.
Oh. No. It's oh man, it's gonna bug me. It's like on the tip of my tongue too.
Oh well.
I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. I'll have to say it. And once I figure it out.
Well, guess what? Callie isn't here to save you now. You didn't. Oh, I already read that.
She nodded.
I can't hear you, bitch.
Leave me alone, Tyne hissed. He smiled.
We'll see about that, he said, walking off.
Tyne leaned on the wall. Oh, okay, sorry. You know who it is? Sorry. That just came to me. You've seen Meet the Robinsons, right?
Yes.
Bowler hat guy.
I know who you're talking about. Yes, the bowler
hat. That's who I'm picturing in my head right now.
Oh my god. No, his name's no longer the KKK. It's the bowler hat guy. There's the dumb shit I knew and loved.
That's who it is. That's who I'm picturing in my head right now. Okay. Tyne leaned on the wall of the room, crying to herself.
She wanted to get out, and she wanted to be back with Callie, where she knew she'd be safe.
But she wasn't.
She was stuck here.
Another hour passed, and the man came back. Alrighty, girl. All right, girlie. Time to go, he said, taking the chain off the wall.
What is she, a fucking dog?
Right?
He tugged on it harshly, pulling her along.
She stumbled, following after him.
I just think it's like BDSM shit. Butt play or some fucking shit.
It's bad BDSM if that's what it's supposed to be. Even like, no, this is abuse. Like, plain and simple.
Oh yeah, Tyne, you've been a bad girl. She sniffed softly, knowing what was coming after this.
Another man waited outside.
He smiled, looking at Tyne. You, my girl, have a new home, the man said.
Tyne struggled to get out of his hold. No, just let me go, she yelled.
He tugged on the chain, pulling her to his feet. Shut up and stop trying to get away, he snapped.
The other man took her from him.
He put her in the back of a truck and shut the door.
Tyne closed her eyes and as tears fell into her lap.
The truck pulled away and drove off.
Sorry, I'm about to cough really loudly, so
Do you get that? Do you get that?
Handing out tickets to the Backstreet Boys concert.
Yep.
The Backstreet Boys concert.
No, I got laughing too hard.
I'm just thinking of really
recording for 5 hours.
I'm just thinking of really bad BDSM and then pup play at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, really bad BDSM. Really, really bad BDSM. Like abuse. That's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The truck pulled away and drove off.
It stopped after a while outside a house, and she was locked in a room.
She was chained to the bed and restricted on the movement she had.
She still struggled to try to get out until she wore herself out.
It was getting dark outside, and she didn't want to be there. Not here. There.
Callie stirred in her sleep. No, don't touch her, she murmured.
She snapped awake inside.
She sat up, looking at her weapons beside her.
She grabbed them, putting them on.
She sat up, looking at her weapons beside her.
She grabbed them and put them on.
She then got up and headed out. Where are you going? Asher asked.
Out for a while, she said, walking out.
She walked down the road until she was out of sight.
She then ran off to find Tyne.
She had to find her before she lost her again.
She ran through the streets looking around the place.
She stopped, seeing some men walking around. I heard they found Tyne. They sent her back and she was taken off again.
Oh, she stopped, seeing some men walk around the corner. Sorry. Wonder how much they got for her this time.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting her myself.
Callie pulled out her shotgun. I don't think so.
She fired it, shooting both guys. She
then took off again.
I hate to tell you this, but a shotgun does not have very good range on it.
Right? Why would you pull out a shotgun?
Just
a shotgun is huge.
Yeah, and you're gonna get what's in front of you. You're not gonna get what's further away from you.
Yeah, she's saying they're across the street or something.
I guess so. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it can't be that far away if she hears them talking. But yeah.
And the shotgun's loud as fuck too.
Right.
She got to a street and checked all the buildings.
She got to one to see a guy walking around.
She saw him go into a room and caught a glance of Tyne.
She growled softly, getting into his house.
She snuck into the hallway, watching the place closely.
The man then walked out of the room a minute later and left the house.
Callie ran over to the room to find it locked.
She picked the lock, opening the door.
Tyne was on the bed crying, still chained up. Tyne!
Tyne looked back at her as Callie hugged her.
Don't worry, I'll get you out of here. What are you doing in here anyway?
Tyne whimpered softly, shaking her head.
Callie cut the chain from her. All right, just tell me when you're ready, she said, picking her up gently.
She left the house, closing the door behind her.
She took Tyne to the back She took Tyne back to her house.
She sat Tyne on the couch and put a blanket over her. She then went to get her something to eat. Oh, sorry.
It's alright. Tyne stared out the window, watching everything.
Callie came back over with some food for her.
Tyne began eating it while Callie locked up the house and shut the blinds.
There. Now no one can get into the house.
And if they do, you have this, she said, sitting it next to Tyne.
Oh, I think we skipped a sentence.
Yeah. Basically, she pulled out another gun.
Yeah, she pulls out a gun and hands it over to Tyne. She nodded slowly.
Callie held her close to her.
Tyne leaned on her, crying softly.
Hey, it's alright. You're safe with me, she said, rubbing her back.
Tyne held her tightly and Callie rested her head on hers.
Tyne eventually cried herself to sleep.
Callie fell asleep soon after, holding Tyne tightly.
There was no way Callie was going to let Tyne slip from her again. Yeah?
No.
Yeah?
Want to bet?
Bet! Fucking bet!
Yeah, I don't believe in destiny. I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me. You ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes. Call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love. Still gonna die for what I love. Still gonna try, I won't give up. Still gonna fight until I